Remember 3 days ago, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey signed a trilateral defense pact with a lot of fanfare. However, cracks within that crucial alliance have surfaced just within about 24 hours. Even as the Iran-backed Houthis launched that attack on Saudi Arabia, Pakistan stayed away from the battlefield. In fact, Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir's choice is quite clear. It's also glaring at this point, considering the most important aspect of this deal. According to the agreement, any armed attack against any one of these three countries will be regarded as an attack against them all. Now, it's worth noting that despite that similar clause being present in the Pakistan-Saudi Defense Pact signed in September last year, Munir's forces did not join hostilities against Iran. And this says a lot. Remember, the Houthis, which declared a maritime blockade of Saudi Arabia, did not hold back. Over the weekend itself, the group struck a facility operated by Saudi Arabia's state-owned oil firm in retaliation for the alleged incursions by drones into northwest Yemen. And this facility reportedly processes 400,000 barrels of crude oil per day. 400,000 barrels. On its part, Riyadh clarified that a fire which broke out at this facility was extinguished and no injuries were reported. That's not all. Houthis also attacked Yemen's port city of Mocha. Now, take a look at these visuals. The Houthis claim to have launched a barrage of ballistic missiles and drones towards alleged Saudi troops and weapon depots in Mocha as part of that large-scale operation. Thick plumes of black smoke billowed. Loud explosions rang out as the Houthis launched the attack. According to Yemen's military, at least 11 people, including 8 military personnel and 3 civilians, were killed in the first wave of attacks, whereas 32 others were injured. As per the military, its air defenses intercepted and shot down 11 Houthi drones. Now, even Turkey, in fact, has remained silent, while the Turkish foreign minister affirmed that the Mecca Pact has a NATO-like Article 5, similar to the NATO Article 5 collective defense clause. He told the media as well that the agreement does not target any country, amid speculation of whether it will rush to Saudi Arabia's aid in the conflict. Pakistan also issued a clarification. Its deputy PM and foreign minister said, I'm quoting, "I wish to reiterate that the Mecca Accord is defensive in nature. It's not directed against any country." He also added that its purpose is to strengthen collective deterrence against external aggression. Interestingly, Iran also made it clear it's not worried by the Mecca Pact, taking a dig at the US, it seemed. It reasoned that this agreement showed that countries are relying more on their own capabilities rather than those of outside powers. Listen to this.
Since we have deep religious, historical and civilizational ties with the two neighboring countries of Turkey and Pakistan, as well as Saudi Arabia, there is no reason to worry that this treaty will be against Iran.
Let's also decode for you why Pakistan is running away from joining forces with Saudi Arabia, it seems. Even after the intense strikes by the US and Israel, Iran maintains a strong military and arsenal of weapons that can cause significant damage to Pakistan. The answer also is in Balochistan's strategic location. It shares a 900-kilometer-long border with Iran, remember, which is not easy to manage at all, considering that Balochistan has been on the boil. And even as Pakistan continues to jail human rights activists like Mehrang Baloch, the unrest on the ground cannot be understated. In the month of July itself, the Pakistani military revealed at least 42 people, most of whom were security personnel, were killed in 3 attacks by the Baloch insurgents. In subsequent operations, Pakistani forces claimed to have killed at least 129 militants. The Baloch Liberation Army has also intensified its operations, by the way. In July, gunmen killed 9 police officers in an attack on a checkpost. This was at the dam project in Balochistan. And that's not all. In May, over 30 people were killed after a suicide bomber rammed an explosive-laden car into a train in Quetta, which was carrying Pakistani security personnel and their families. Let's also talk about the situation in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It remains volatile, to say the least. Amid Asim Muni's brutal crackdown on civilians and supporters of the Joint Awami Action Committee, third round of the so-called assembly elections in POK were held only in 4 constituencies, whereas polling was indefinitely postponed in 7 other seats. And as Pakistan's turmoil intensifies and the crises continue, a key question is there. Is it even in a viable position to fulfill the commitments of the Mecca Pact, given what's happening? And if that is the case, it's clear that the agreement was more of symbolism than actual substance. What if China launches an invasion of Taiwan and finds the island has turned the battlefield into a swarm? Taiwan is rehearsing a new kind of warfare, it seems, using drones, unmanned boats and missiles to hunt a possible invading force from the sea to the shore. But then can Taiwan's Ukraine-inspired strategy really turn and stop a massive Chinese assault is the question. Our next story decoding the tactics and the preparations in Taiwan during the ongoing military drills.
The invasion fleet is coming. The beaches are under attack. And suddenly the sky starts filling with drones. Along with that is intense artillery fire from ground-based forces. That is the battlefield Taiwan is preparing for during its massive 10-day Han Kuang military exercises. Taiwan is putting a new combat concept through its paces. The goal is simple. If Chinese forces cross the Taiwan Strait, make every kilometer of their advance dangerous. Taiwan is looking closely at Ukraine. Ukraine has turned cheap drones into some of the most important weapons of its war against Russia. Small unmanned aircraft can find troops, track armor, identify artillery, and attack targets far behind the front line. Taiwan wants to bring the tactic to an invasion across the Taiwan Strait. If that fails, then Taiwanese troops plan to use concrete barriers, barbed wire and HESCO walls to block a key bridge near Taipei in a drill to stop invading Chinese forces attempting to advance on the capital.
The enemy is landing via the Lanyang River, aiming primarily to seize Suao Port to either force an administrative disembarkation or disrupt our strategic resupply operations. Therefore, our mission is to destroy the enemy in the designated engagement area outside the port before they can reach it.
Taiwanese troops also simulated a nuclear, biological and chemical attack. Soldiers, tanks and armored vehicles were then decontaminated in an exercise designed to test the military's ability to respond swiftly to such attacks and return personnel and equipment to combat operations as quickly as possible.
What you see now is our decontamination station. Its main purpose is to assist in the removal of NBC contamination from our important combat equipment, such as armored vehicles and tanks, allowing our vehicles to recover quickly and ensuring the safety of our personnel.
China claims Taiwan is part of its territory and has threatened to use force to seize the island of 23 million people. To counter the mighty Chinese military, Taiwan has set an ambitious target of producing up to 100,000 drones every month by 2030. Why? Because Taiwan knows it cannot simply match China weapon for weapon. China has a vastly larger military and industrial base. So Taiwan is looking for another advantage: volume. Cheap drones can be produced faster than sophisticated missiles. They can be dispersed, they can be replaced, and they can force an attacker to spend expensive weapons defending against relatively inexpensive threats. But there is a major question: will it work against China? Well, Ukraine's battlefield experience offers valuable lessons, but Taiwan faces a completely different problem. Ukraine has fought primarily across land. Taiwan must stop an amphibious assault. China would have to move troops, armor, fuel and supplies across the Taiwan Strait and keep them moving under fire. That creates a massive vulnerability, but it also creates an enormous challenge for Taiwan. Chinese forces could attack drone production facilities, jam communications, destroy launch sites, use electronic warfare, and overwhelm defenses with missiles, aircraft and naval power. So Taiwan is not betting everything on drones. It is combining them with missiles, attack boats, mines, artillery and conventional forces. The message from the drills is clear. Taiwan does not expect to stop an invasion with one weapon. It wants to turn the entire battlefield against the invader. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Shifting focus, Ukraine has just struck deep inside Russia with one of its deadliest drone attacks of the war. The target was more than 1,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. Russian officials say 13, including a child, was killed in the Ukrainian drone attack. Now, Kiev is bracing for the response, with Russia still expanding its missile campaign and Ukraine running dangerously short of the interceptors needed to stop it.
The blast was far from the battlefield. The target was deep inside Russia. Russia has been jolted by a massive, deadly drone attack on Nishikamsk in Tatarstan region. Ukraine says it targeted the Taneko oil refinery, where fires are seen. Nishikamsk is a major industrial hub, and the refinery is more than 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border. That distance matters, as it shows how Russia is failing to stop an incoming missile or drone which is striking so deep inside its territory. Ukraine has been increasingly taking the war deep inside Russia, using long-range drones to hit oil refineries, fuel infrastructure and other strategic targets. But every deep strike carries a massive risk: retaliation. Russia has repeatedly responded to major Ukrainian attacks with intense missile and drone assaults. And Ukraine is now preparing for another possible escalation. The danger is particularly serious because Ukraine's air defense stocks are under pressure. Kyiv has warned of an acute shortage of interceptor missiles, including those needed for advanced systems such as Patriot. Ukrainian officials say deliveries on air defense missiles this year have fallen sharply, while Russia continues to launch large ballistic missile attacks. The vulnerability has already been exposed. During a major Russian bombardment in July, Ukraine admitted that it failed to intercept any of the 23 ballistic missiles launched in one attack. Russia is now showing no sign of slowing down. Moscow continues to expand missile production and maintain a heavy strike campaign against Ukrainian cities and infrastructure. Recent Russian attacks damaged Ukraine's Odessa port. adding another layer to the escalating battle over Ukraine's critical infrastructure. So the battlefield is widening again. Ukraine is sending drones deeper into Russia. Russia is responding with missiles and drones across Ukraine, and Kyiv knows the next Russian strike could come with little warning. The question now is not whether Moscow will respond, it is how hard. Bureau Report, WION World is One.